on your page.
Okay.
The champ is here! 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 The champ is here!
Welcome to State Champions Podcast. On State Champions Podcast, we discuss people, politics, community, and culture. What would a podcast be with two great friends without us discussing sports? I'm your co-captain, Raphael Peterson. To my immediate left, to your right, is my brother, my friend. I call him G. Some of y'all call him Coach Ward. Some call him G Smooth. My other co-captain, George T. Ward. How you doing, boy?
I'm good, bro.
Everything going good?
You know what I mean?
Hey, man, listen.
Back in the building.
Back in the building. We ain't been in the building, man. I would say this to you. I'm so glad to be back in the building because we have two very special guests that's going to be in the building with us shortly.
Okay.
And I mean, what we do on State Champions Podcast, if you haven't never tuned in before, it is always a celebration. And today we have a real great celebration. We have three guys going into the Detroit Public School Boys Basketball Coaches Association Hall of Fame.
Mhm.
Ken Flowers,
That's right.
Mark White, and none other than yourself.
Yeah.
Can we listen real quick on State Champions Podcast? G is one of the pillars in the community, and he's here. And how does it feel to be inducted into the Hall of Fame?
Man, you know what, Dooley, I'm going to tell you. It's almost like it hadn't hit me until probably maybe about a week or so ago.
Okay.
Obviously I talked to Ken and talked to Mark, one day kind of on a group chat. But, when I finally told my family, I really hadn't told anybody, I hadn't talked about it because we heard probably about Ken called me about a month or so ago, if not a little bit longer. Mm-hmm. So we knew about it. It just kind of hit. But I think more importantly, it just kind of shows what the guys who paved the way for us,
absolutely,
what they were able to do.
Yes, sir.
So I don't look at it from an individual perspective. What I look at is the fact that those men and women who impacted our generation, these flowers are really for them, and we just kind of carry them for them.
Oh, absolutely. So tomorrow night, all three will be inducted into the Hall of Fame at the MGM. Q, can you put up that flyer? And so tomorrow, MGM, and it's not open to the public, but I think it's just a great platform for you guys tomorrow, and it's hosted by a great brother in the community doing great things for young people in our community, none other than Horatio Williams and the Horatio Williams Foundation. Yeah, without that, it just wouldn't be right. How long has he been doing that clinic now?
Wow,
maybe 12. At least 12 years, I know for sure.
I think it's been over a decade. He really solidified something when MGM, when that became the venue. It really gave a different type of atmosphere. It brought about a different amount of class to everything.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Obviously, you look at the speakers that he has.
Oh yeah, no, it's crazy. It's crazy.
He doesn't have any lower level guys, so he's got some hell of a college coaches who bring a world of wisdom. And it's beneficial to the community, it's beneficial to the Coaches Association.
Oh, absolutely. So, and I know a lot of people will want to come, but everybody can't come. But if you want to donate, you can donate 10, 20 bucks just because whatever your pocket can stand. Some of you might want to donate a stack, but
did you donate?
That's what your heart.
Did you donate?
I'm going to donate tomorrow because I'm going to be in the building for sure.
I'm saying, but how much did you donate?
No, he said I could
donate.
donate.
Whatever your pockets could stand. I mean, what I'm saying?
We don't have to do all that, man. You're going through pocket. So anyway, tonight, right now, as we speak, it's probably just ended. He had the second chance game. And I talked to Brother Horatio, and he talked about how many HBCU coaches were here. And they were doing a great job over at DEPSA. And it's just a way, like you said, G, to give back to the community. Absolutely. And have the opportunity for our young men in our community to be looked at from some HBCUs. So Before we get started, we're going to get to these great brothers, but I want to make sure that if you have any questions, you want to ask the coaches anything, because now who you're going to see on the set is all three of the Hall of Fame inductees, Brother Mark White and Ken Flowers.
Hustle and flow.
So let's give them a round of applause.
Yeah, man.
So make sure y'all call in 313-314-8400. The line's going to be open all night. We're not going to be here long. We want to make this quick and fast because we just want to make sure that we honor our legends that are in the community. Yeah. I always say this. Y'all guys are legends. Y'all impactors. Y'all fathers of y'all own, but more importantly, y'all fathers in the community of the children that y'all coach every day, trying to make all these young men become the best that they can be. And obviously, for me, it's like an honor to me. I'm telling you, when I heard about it, I was like, who going to the Hall of Fame? I said, well, I'm getting dressed up like I'm going to be up there in the Hall of Fame for tomorrow.
Y'all got to wait to see him tomorrow. He going to act like he died for niggas.
Hey, but so I'm glad that y'all could be here. Brother Flo, how you doing?
I'm good, bro. Man.
Yeah. Man, we glad you're here, Brother Mark White, the great Mark White. Yeah. Hey, how you doing?
I'm great. Glad to be here, bro.
Man, listen.
Yeah, appreciate y'all.
Listen, G, man, I'm going to tell you, it's crazy to me just to hear it, but now to have all the guys sitting here, it's a wonderful opportunity. But everybody, just to hear different stories of the competition over the years. I think I'm going to tell the first story.
Yes, sir.
I'll tell the first story. So, obviously, Flo, Henry Ford, but you started at Red under Coach McDowell, right? Red under McDowell. So when Flo got the job over at Henry Ford, he always had tough kids. They gonna be scrappy. They coming after. They gonna do everything on that defensive end. So I remember this one summer. We played them up at Eastern. So we beat them. I'm feeling good. I said, yeah, we gonna beat them because we had them in the district.
Yeah.
And sure enough, we got to the district. I had the team all geeked up. We went in that first half. Really, I'm up 12 in the second quarter. This game is over. And there's something going, here they come. Who was the kid that you sent up to Western to shoot?
Davis.
Josh Davis. And he hit some shots in that second quarter. They tied it back up. And of course, he beat me again. So my record against Flo is whatever. I haven't won one game against Flo. I haven't won. I'm not going to. I have never beat Flo in all my days.
A lot of people can say that, though. So,
yeah.
So,
but man, I always, those little stories I have. But how does it feel, Flo, to get inducted into this Hall of Fame coming up tomorrow night?
Man, you know, it's humbling.
Yes, sir.
Very humbling. Still ecstatic about it, man. Coming from the prestige league we play in, prestige district we play in. I was a player myself back in the day, the PSL as well. Just to be inducted to a league, a Hall of Fame with such great coaches, man. Like you guys, Perry and Ben Kelso and my mentor, Coach Mack, and all them guys, man. It's an honor. You know, I never think coming in 2005, my first year as the head coach.
Yeah.
You know, looking at it now and just to be in the Hall of Fame, just crazy. You know, still unbelievable to me.
Wow. So I like to tell y'all this. Every time we do State Champions podcast, it's always a celebration. So tonight is truly a celebration. So we're going to do a toast. Now, Brother Mark has Ward over there, which is good. He can toast whatever he like because he going to the Hall. So I can't tell him he got to drink champagne, but what I do, we go drink champagne on the show. G already started drinking, so we going to get started. And we going to do a toast to the Hall of Famers right here on State Champions Podcast, just because
that's what we do.
That's what we do. Toast.
My man.
Toast to the Hall.
Congratulations, man.
Man, love, man. Congrats, man.
My man, congrats, my man.
Love,
So, Mark, you've been around the coaching community for a long time. When did you actually start in the PSL?
Well, I was fortunate enough to start as an assistant coach for the great Johnny Golston at Detroit Persian. My mentor, I don't even have the words to describe what he meant to me.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir.
He made me the coach that I am. He gave me a job as a coach when I wasn't even looking for a job as a coach.
Wow.
As young men, we grow up, and our desire, our dreams are all about playing basketball. We often have to think that that's the only way, the only thing that we can become, because it takes that kind of commitment and dedication to be really good at this game as a player.
Okay.
So I didn't have any second options. I wanted to be a basketball player. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I thought about. And playing, at my early, when I got an adult, Coach Ghostin saw me play at St. Cecilia, and he said, I want you to come over and talk to some of my guards. I like the way you play. I like for you to work with some of my guards. I was still playing professionally then.
Okay.
And it was the summertime, and I never thought about being a coach.
Yeah.
And he talked me into coming over to speak to his players. He sent me on a AAU tournament to Kalamazoo. He kind of suckered me, Johnny Gustin.
Oh yeah,
Johnny Gustin had a way with words. Yeah.
JG for sure.
The rules wouldn't allow him to coach his team in the AAU, so he kind of convinced me to ride with him. Fortunately and unfortunately, I had to coach that team. On that weekend, and it was something that was epiphany for me.
Okay.
I realized this is another passion I had, something that I thought I could be good at if I worked hard at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
He really inspired me that there's something I could do, a different purpose, after basketball as a player.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
I started working with Coach Ghostin, and I fell in love with how he coached, his impact on young men, how he was respected in the community. He motivated not only his players, but everybody around the whole community, the school community, the neighborhood, and his former players, his current players, everybody that worked with him loved him.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
And he inspired me to be a coach. So that's when I started coaching as assistant coach with him in 1998, 99. My alma mater, Renaissance.
Before you get to that, see, I remember now I just thought about it. My first JV championship, we had to come play y'all over there. You had the big 7-footer. He was about 6'8". Who was that kid?
Darius Manciel.
Yep, y'all had the big fella.
Yeah, I had a really good JV team. We smashed y'all.
No. See, now you're going to it was a close game. And then the big fella just took over because I had some little guys on the team.
I have a 6'8".
Yeah, I had 6'8".
We had a couple of those.
They was loaded over there. And so then now, because obviously you're talking about JG, Johnny Ghost, and I just remember him when we was at team camp. We was at BC in Indiana and had a chance to finally sit down and talk to him. Him and Kelso was friends. But just finding out about who he was as a person, he was a great person, but he gave you that start. Then you transitioned to your alma mater, Renaissance.
Well, I didn't feel like I was ready to be a coach.
Okay.
I had just started like a couple of years doing the JV program and working with him. So I wanted to stay with him and learn a lot more, prepare myself.
Yeah, of course.
But my alma mater, the position opened, and he was my main supporter and saying, you're ready, you can do it. So I went and applied for the job at Renaissance, and I started there in 1998, 99.
Wow.
As a head coach.
So to my man G, when you first got your start, it was at Cooley. I know that. But once you started to fly with your own wings, you went, was it Charlotte Fortin?
Charlotte Fortin Academy.
Charlotte Fortin. Man, see, this is when I think about y'all paths all the way through. Think about how many years ago that was. Right. And as y'all was coming up and y'all coaching, could you ever imagine that y'all will be at this place right now to be into the Detroit Public School Boys Basketball Association Hall of Fame? I mean, I remember the Charlotte Fortin teams and the things that you were doing over there. So once you started there and where you at now, how does it make you feel?
Wow. It's crazy because even becoming a head coach, listening to Mark, I think the one thing that the common denominator is we all started coaching under legends.
Yeah.
So you look at so many guys who want to cut corners. And I understand we're in a microwave society now.
Yeah, of course.
So I listen to some of these young guys now and I'm thinking like, man, you don't have a clue. You don't even know how to run a practice yet, bro.
Yeah,
I'm telling
absolutely.
you, you
Yeah,
don't.
for sure.
So, starting off, you and I, as always, we working for Kelso. Once you were done playing professionally, I look up and coach called me one night, 11 o'clock. So I started coaching, and I'm thinking after a while, I'm like, coach, I'm just, I'm working for the state. I'm doing pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good. And, you listening to him, he kind of made me. But the Charlotte Fortin piece was, I think God definitely sent me there because it made me a better coach, definitely.
Okay.
Because I'm working with adjudicated children.
Okay.
I'm my entire team, my first year, each of them were adjudicated at the time that they were playing for me. Like nobody went home to their mother. So this is what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So
sure.
we got 6 a.m. practices. I put a motto on the back of the shirt. Flo always say, man, you in them words. I put some on the back of the shirt and it said, what do you do at 6 a.m.? That was a question mark. And the kids just loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And man, the kids couldn't play.
Yeah.
But after a year or so, I look up and they're playing well. So, you start off with that and then Kelso again. I take the central job. So when I look at it, when I was at Charlotte Fortin, I did not want to do anything else.
Yeah,
I'm working for the state of Michigan at the time. I got a second job working midnights with the young people that are adjudicated, and I'm comfortable. I'm making a nice salary for myself, and I'm coaching the game that I love.
Yeah, for sure.
And all of a sudden, some people, Mark White specifically, Benny White, and Arvis Young were like, man, you're going to be good at this. And I'm thinking like, man, I'm just trying to coach these guys right here. I'm comfortable. Yeah. And the next thing I know, when I took the central job, I started to look up and I said, whoa, I'm better than a lot of these guys, and was having fun doing it. But more importantly, when you look at it, as we all have done, as you have done, is I'm looking at some of these young men who are now 35, 38 years old, and I'm seeing them transform not as a basketball player, but as a young person.
Yeah. Now, so what I like, and I just think about each one of y'all teams every time I think about it. I think about Mark White team. I think about Flo team. I think about your team. I remember one year when I was at Cooley, and we were playing Renaissance, and as the game was going on, I kept on saying, "Dang!" And I'm hearing Mark down there because his teams would always be disciplined. They were not going to beat themselves. Ever. So I'm sitting down there, and I got a couple guys. They can play. But Mark team is disciplined. They structured
and tough.
And I remember him saying, "Don't go out there. They not gonna shoot it." And I kept on saying, I said in my head, I can't beat this team right here today, because
they're gonna do everything.
They're not gonna beat themselves. And I had young guys, and so seeing that at the time, I was like, "Well, I got to get my team prepared." So. One time I beat Mark, but he wasn't at Renaissance. That was when he was at Southeastern, his first year over at Southeastern.
He called me and cussed me out.
That's the only one. Now these guys to my left, to the viewers right, I never beat y'all ever. It was tough.
Ralph said this publicly. Everybody,
right.
Hey, Ralph said he ain't beat his man G Ward publicly.
No, but I don't think everybody knew that.
Well, not everybody might not, because the way you talk, they figure you done beat me every time we play. But it's good.
Man. But then I think about your team, G, and over the years, your staple was that defense. You were, regardless of what happened, you were going to be able to play man to man, and the game was going to go as it was going to go as long as your team played that defense and you could catch people in the end. And then Flo teams, like I've said earlier, Flo, your teams was just always. They're going to keep coming. They coming in waves.
6 people on the floor.
Yeah, one time I thought that we played out here in Florida. I said, man, my man came up the sideline.
He came up the stairs, didn't he?
Well, yeah, so y'all at this pinnacle, and I would say pinnacle. Flo, what year was that you won the state championship?
So 2015, we lost in the state championship.
Mm-hmm.
Graduated 3 guys and came back and won it the next year, 2016.
Yep, that was 2016.
Yeah, so we went back to back years.
So that team, what do you remember about that team? What do you think that really made that team successful?
Just that summer they came together.
Okay.
And they want to have that same feeling from the year before.
Yeah.
It started, like you say, in the summertime, man, this summer league, extra running, 6 o'clock in the morning practice, doing a year, 2 a days.
Uh-huh.
You know, they waking me up sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, Coach, where you at?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So the team got that type of dedication, that type of accountability amongst themselves.
Uh-huh.
It's hard to beat teams like that.
And so it's funny you mentioned that summer. That was the year that I thought I was going to beat you in the district. No, I'm dead serious. So here's what happened. I knew I was in trouble. One day, this is an absolute true story. This is on January 1st of that year.
Wow.
I hit the corner at 8 Mile and Evergreen. I was coming southbound on Evergreen. And I saw the money ball bags, backpacks, and like 3 of your players, and they were coming from practice. I knew where they was coming from. Y'all probably wasn't supposed to be practicing, probably was illegal, but whatever. So no, I'm dead serious. So when I got to practice, I'm dead serious.
Right.
Probably was a little illegal, but okay, whatever. When I talked to my team, I said, we gonna get the hell beat out of us because we couldn't practice over that whole break. Now, and I'm only saying that now, we wasn't playing y'all to the districts.
All right.
But it was the mentality that I saw. I said, these dudes are standing outside. It's cold. I'll never forget that. And I was thinking, I'm in trouble. I don't care what happened in the summer. We in trouble. That's a true story. I saw 3 guys. I can't remember who they were at the time, but it was 3 guys on that bus stop. I said, we ain't practiced the whole break. I said,
and they in the lab on January 1st.
I'm telling you, I was like, we in trouble. But so G, your team. So now you had a great run to the state tournament. When you was at Southeastern.
Yeah.
So what do you remember about those teams that you think that put you in a space where, you know, this probably started to pile on your accolades over the years and people started to really recognize, because at Charlotte Ford, people didn't really get a chance to see you too often.
Nope.
But now you go Southeastern,
yes,
and then you go to King. But those years at Southeastern, what do you think contributed to your success and getting to the state championship game 2 years in a row?
Wow, that's
What years were those?
2011, 2013.
Mhm.
So the crazy thing about it is, the irony is, you know, I followed Mark White.
Yeah.
So I was going up to Adrian College to coach with him.
Mm-hmm.
He told me I was going to come be his defensive coordinator, and then he made me take the Southeastern job.
Mm-hmm.
But Southeastern was tricky because on paper, initially they were good.
Yeah.
The one thing that I did not realize is, and again, you know, you and I played over at Southeastern.
Mm-hmm.
You remember, I think our sophomore year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I remember thinking, like, these guys are tough as nails. And I ain't just talking about their team. I'm talking about the people that stand at the sidelines 2 inches off the court. I'm thinking, these some mean some bitches right here. I don't want no problems over here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'll blow the game if you want me to. But anyway, I didn't realize, you know, some of the things that they needed, and after a while, you know, Mark had done such a great job with them. And then when he left to take the Adrian job, it was a hiatus for some of the guys, and a lot of them left. You know, so you know, we didn't have to rebuild, but you know, working with those guys and having, you know, a couple kids that could play a little bit, just kind of fitting my style into them. 2011, we beat the number, I guess, 16 team in the country in the quarterfinals. Nate Oates and the Romulus.
Oh yeah, that is right. Nate. Oh yeah, that's right.
So
yeah,
you know, it was funny because, you know, we had kind of seen them. We kind of knew we could be good, and we beat them, and we get to the state championship game. And then we graduated 12 players that year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Graduated 12 players. And 2 years later,
Mm-hmm.
we're in the state championship game again. Now, I can tell you, I don't know too many people who will graduate 12 basketball players. Now, football team, you know, you got 70-some players.
Mm-hmm.
Basketball team's 15.
Mm-hmm.
We graduated 12.
Mm-hmm.
2 years later, we were in the state championship game again. And I think at that point, you know, I started having officials come up to me and say, "What, man, I've seen the development of these guys.
Yeah.
What you doing is great," because some of these guys couldn't play like that. So
Yeah.
I think that kind of catapulted me into a level that was synonymous with Ken Flowers,
Yeah.
Mark White, Raphael Peterson, and these guys, man. But, you know, I kind of think as we look at it now, and I think these guys will attest, this is the funny thing about it, Raph, and you can talk about this a little bit too. I want y'all to talk about how this thing has shifted. So when we start,
Yeah. Before we go there, because I want to ask Mark
Mhm.
White about the Renaissance teams.
That Rennie team.
See those Rennie teams, because now those teams, and G, don't forget your thought about that, because we're gonna go to that.
Mhm.
But you kind of jumping the gun like you always do.
Yeah.
But so
you shot the ball that time, you touched it. So shit, I gotta shoot.
you got to get a shot in every now and again.
I passed it.
So brother Mark, think about this. Your Renaissance team, and obviously we were gone, but we
Crazy.
coming back and we hearing about
Crazy.
Mark White teams and the Renaissance. What contribute to your success when you won those state championships, and what years were those?
Well, we won 2004 state championship, and 2006 we won the state championship, and just have to give all the credit to the players that we had. We just had some great players who are dedicated to the sport, their craft. They were very ambitious. Winning was very important to them. They had great work ethics, and they bought into the dream. As coaches, we have to sell a vision. We have to sell the dream, and they bought into it, and they did what they had to do to achieve it. And you got to give them all the credit.
Oh yeah, and so let me ask you this, because you had those. Was it Joe and Malik?
Well, it's more than two players.
No, I know, but those were the names that I was hearing. And so I was like, dang.
Yeah, well, we had
What's
very
the other little
fortunate,
guard?
very fortunate to coach two McDonald's All-American, Joseph Crawford and Malik Harrison. Great kids, great students, great brothers, great players.
Yeah.
They were leaders of that team, the first state championship. But we had a lot of really good players. You mentioned Tawan Porter.
Tawan Porter. Yeah.
Marcus Stout.
Yeah, Marcus Stout. Okay, yeah.
Adam Sabri, Corey Johnson.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Senior,
Adam Sabri, like the Sabri for the
Adam Sabri. His older brother was on my first team, Yusuf Sabri.
Yeah.
We won his first city championship in school history, 2000, with Ricky Paul and Adam Sabri.
Wow.
His big brother Yusuf.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so Adam started for me. I started 5 seniors that year, 2004. And they were dedicated to winning it all. They went undefeated. We finished like number 2 in the nation. They did all the work, and they made it easy for me as a coach.
I got a question for you, because I'm gonna put this out here right now. Right now. Because I had a couple people say they would have did this. Could they had a beat those Cooley?
No, don't ask.
And we talking about that Cooley 88 team or that 87 team, could have beat us at any time? Because everybody y'all wasn't that good. They could have beat y'all. I'm just saying what somebody told me. So Mark White, now you've been around.
Put him on the spot.
Yeah, I had this. I'm getting him on the spot right now. He on the hot seat. Though that team, and I heard they were good. I caught a few games. Could they have beat that Cooley 1987, 88, or 89 team?
Well, I have me and my team. We always had a lot of respect for great programs. We had great respect for the history of the game.
Yes, sir.
So we all were aware of Coach Kelso and the program, and you and all the great players that played at Cooley. It's right down the street from Renaissance.
Of course.
Yeah, we're very aware of the formidable team that you guys had.
Yeah.
So I would say, you guys inspired us.
Okay. All right.
We wanted to be on that level as a program. So we worked really hard to get to that level. So we're really proud that we're in the same neighborhood.
All right. So to be continued, it's probably that he really wanted to say that we could have beat him, but he can't say that for political reasons.
Put him on the hot seat.
Yeah, put him on the hot seat. All right, G, go ahead. Go back to your question. You was about to ask go ahead. What you was about to ask?
Hey, wait, G. Let me add something since he said that.
Now you talking?
Yeah.
The players that I had, I don't believe that they thought anybody could beat them.
Wow. Oh yeah.
And I don't feel like going on the court with them that I didn't feel like I would ever lose with those kids. With the kids we had against anybody in any generation, even now, I feel like we would still be winning if we was playing right now. I mean,
wow. Okay.
They were determined to win every game. They did. We won every game. So
y'all did.
I can't sit here and say I feel like we would lose because
of course not. No.
I can't speak for them.
Yeah.
And I can't speak for them.
That's how I feel
They
about my
didn't-
refer
they didn't
team.
feel like
That's
So
deep.
yeah.
That's deep.
My refer teams.
So G, go ahead. You
as
ask
we as we look at it, man. You know, again, we've been in this thing. It's almost crazy to say. Flo, your first year coaching was 2000 what?
As a head coach,
Yes,
5.
2005. You became an assistant. What? 2002.
2002.
2002.
Yeah.
So we're looking at a 20-year plus span, right?
Mm-hmm.
How have we seen the game shift? Because Mark, you know, let truth be told, you were at a wonderful institution, and I always say that Renaissance Athletic Complex should be named after you.
Dang.
No, listen,
Mark
listen,
White Complex.
I'll say this right now, and I've said this before. Renaissance High School, the athletic complex, should be named after Mark White, and I've said this to the people downtown. But in saying that, now because of your structure, because of your discipline, how has that impacted you negatively, Flo, Mark? I don't want to say negatively, but what I'm saying is, has it shifted? Have you noticed it's been a little bit more difficult for certain players to come to you when you look in your mind? You say, "Wait a minute, I'm Mark White." How can you know? Well, no. Let's say, man, come on.
Mark White don't say that.
I never said that. I wouldn't say that.
You would say it to yourself. You said it to yourself though. So how has it shifted where you looking at it now and you're saying, man, why am I not getting the guys? Do you feel like you need to adjust your style and maybe not be as structured, maybe not be as tough or hard on players? Or have you just said, I'm gonna stick to my guns and who comes?
Flo, he said
Flo go first.
Okay, Flo go first. All right, I like this.
Well, man, you talked offline a lot about this before. You know, I'm gonna stick to my guns.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, that's how I was
You ain't
raised.
gonna sell your soul to the devil.
No, that's how I was raised. How pops raised me. Rest of soul to my dad, man. But that's how I was raised. You know, stick to your guns, do what you has been working, do what you do best. I think the kids need it. I think the kids need to be told what they need to hear and show not what they want to hear all the time.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? Because society ain't gonna treat them like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna stick to my guns, and you all know me. I'm gonna coach the guys I get. I'm gonna coach them up. You know what I'm saying? But I'm also gonna be right there on them every day. You know, my biggest thing to these kids nowadays is about accountability.
Yes.
You know, a lot of kids don't want that accountability, man. I think you said it earlier, the microwave age. You know what I'm saying? And it's getting worse. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants the instant gratification.
Right here, right now.
Right now. You know what I'm saying?
Right
so
here, right now.
I'm gonna stick to my guns, you know what I'm saying? Because it's been working. I won't be on championship podcast, won't be working.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
there you go.
Yes, sir.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
I won't be going to the hall tomorrow.
We won't be going to the hall tomorrow.
Yeah,
So
we'll be
all
going
right.
to- there you go.
Some must be working. You know
All
what
right.
I'm saying? There it is.
So, Brother Mark.
Well, I feel like we're all fortunate to be in this position where we have a purpose to impact youth, to contribute to society in a positive way. And so as competitors, we sometimes get caught up into winning and losing. I just feel, so blessed to wake up every day and have a purpose as a man, a positive purpose where I can impact the lives of young people who can impact the lives of other young people, who can impact the lives of other young people. And when you get older, you kind of look at the big picture and things that's important.
Yes.
And winning and losing, that's not the priority, and that's not why God gave us these positions.
Oh,
and
absolutely
this
not.
Responsibility. But I will say, winning is specifics you have to do to win. You can't win without fundamentals, discipline, teamwork, accountability,
buy-in,
like Coach Flowers said, sacrifice, all of those things that we're teaching and values that we're instilling in our young people are important for them for life.
Oh, absolutely.
So winning on the scoreboard or in your season, not as important as preparing them to win in life.
That's it. Yeah.
So I've been blessed to coach the most talented player, the least talented player. They have impacted my life as I try to impact theirs. But I coach basketball the way I was taught basketball, like Coach Flowers said. There's certain characteristics of winning, of a winning team. You just have to focus on that, no matter who comes in your gym.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like if you do a good job,
you're gonna be in there.
They'll come.
Oh yeah,
they'll come.
They'll come.
They'll come. You'll get good players if you're doing good things. I've been very, very fortunate to have some great players, great coaching staff, great friends like you guys. Yeah. So I just work hard, trust God, and who He wants in my life, He'll bring. Who He wants me to be in their life, He'll bring.
There you go.
That's what I look. That's how I look at it.
There you go.
Wow. So let me ask you this. So now, because you just made a great run this year in the state tournament at Ramlis Academy.
Summit Academy.
Ramlis Summit Academy. Let's make that clear and correct. So can you tell me what you see the difference in terms of, and it's in terms of the kids, but more the parents from public school to where you at? Because the parent plays a major role in the development of kids. If they allow the coaches to coach and give them that outside structure, if you will, to help them become young men and to be better productive in our community. What do you see the difference between the parents where you're coaching at now and in the PSL?
Well, I don't think there's a difference in where you're coaching. I think our society as a whole, no matter where you are, has changed a lot.
That's it.
From our generation.
Okay.
And even, 10 years ago, things are changing rapidly now.
Yeah.
I think the main objectives of what we're doing, have been distorted a little bit. As society has individualized the sport, it's more about the individual than the team.
Yeah.
As business has, been a major part of the sport, it has trickled down to high school where, everybody's trying to make millions of dollars, overnight.
Yeah.
Everybody looks at their kid as, a lottery ticket.
Yeah, it's always a lottery ticket. So
NBA, NFL players. So all of those factors impact, what we're doing as coaches and teachers. It impacts how we facilitate our programs, our relationships with our kids, with our parents. So I think it's very important for us to not dwell on what has changed, but make sure we're making an effort to adapt to the changes because we still have a job to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would love to coach you three.
I
would love to work with your parents. But you guys too old. I got to deal with the kind of kids we have and the parents we have. So for me to be an effective coach, an effective leader, I have to adapt.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't complain. I gotta adapt.
You gotta adapt. So real quick, 313-314-8400. If you have any questions for Coach Mark White, Coach Flo, Coach George Ward, if you have any questions, but Flo, to that question to you, how do you see the impact of the parents? Are you seeing any difference from 5 years ago, or what are you seeing now to the current time?
It's tough, man. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
The dynamics where I'm at here before.
I
mean, it's what it is. I am the parent.
Yep. There you go.
You know what I'm saying? Certain schools got different situations.
Yes, sir.
I ain't proud to say that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that's the cards I'm dealt. And that hand I've been dealt with, I've done well with it. I'm proud to have been kids' lives like I am.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a blessing I can provide those mentally, spiritually sometimes, financially, whatever. It's just something I've been blessed to do, you know what I'm saying? And I love what I do. I love what I do, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's a calling for me.
Yes.
And I think I don't take that for granted.
Yeah.
Dealing with kids, livelihoods on a athletic wise, mental state or whatever.
Yeah,
you know
whatever it is.
You do a lot of mentoring in the building as well, Ralph. So you see me a lot. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Ooh. Hold on, Flo. Keep your thoughts, because we got a caller. Let's see who this is. Caller, you live on the air. What's your question? Who is it for?
How you doing? This question is for G Ward, Raphael Peterson. This is Double A Dub.
Hey, what's up, Double A
What
Dub?
up?
What's going down?
Double A Dub, yeah, me and Cordell Robinson and the guys, we down the field, man. Do we got a YouTube link? I can
Hold
pull it
on,
up
hold on.
the
Before you
TV
get to that,
down here, man.
okay, before you get to the question, I got a question for you. How much have y'all been drinking down there?
Cordell have it.
How much have we been drinking down here? Nah, Cordell ain't, he got a
Cordell ain't
Corona
drinking, man.
too.
No, Cordell.
Oh, okay.
It's
All
in
right.
the it's in the chat, Double A Dub.
Yeah, Corona too. But yeah, I'm having a little bit of drinking. How much have I been eating? I've been eating a whole lot of Texas style barbecue, you know.
All
But
right. What's your man? Give me the Double A Dub. What's your question for the coaches, man?
He need to see where he can get on.
yeah,
Catch it on YouTube.
we got a live link on YouTube. That's my question.
Well,
He put it in the link. It should be right there. In the
Live link
Yep.
right now on YouTube.
yep. You should be able to hit that on can they go on the Facebook too? Q? Facebook.
He
either?
can't do it off Facebook, though, I don't think.
Okay.
I'm sending
All right,
it. I'm sending it to you, bro, right now.
Okay, send it to me right now, man. And then my one question is, Ken Flowers.
What up, Dub?
How you doing, brother? How you doing?
What's good?
What's I didn't get to hear. What's your record against G and against G and Raphael, man? I got on kind of late, man. I know. What's your record?
Hold on,
man, with the good questions.
I mean,
man.
we gonna go by number 500.
Hey, listen,
I ain't never beat him, so I'm out of it.
listen, man.
Okay, you got
Ralph
batting 1,000.
Ralph said he never beat me. I can't remember, man, but I know.
Trust me, Flo can remember. But go ahead.
I know this year
Okay.
I beat G Ward this year, though. I know that.
Okay, yeah, you only as good. You know, they say you only as good as your last. You only as good as your last.
Hey.
What about Mark? What's for Mark?
Hey, Doug. Listen, man, I'm gonna give you a 17-second story, if that long. Man, we over at Henry Ford, my first year at King. We go over there, man, and we're up 3 with 5 seconds to go in the basketball game. Remember this guy. Listen, man. Now, so at SC, I done established this thing. Yeah. We had beat them in the playoffs the year before, pretty good. Yeah. Now I'm over there at Henry Ford and King. We own them again. We up 3. Man, a kid, one of my players who's a hell of a father right now, a hell of a young man in the community. I ain't got to say his name. We know who he is. He fouls a 3-point shooter at the buzzer. The young gun. I told the guys, I promise you, I told the guys on the bench, I said, man, this kid too tough. He was really like a 55-60% shooter at the free throw line at best.
No, he didn't.
Listen, man, the young fella, because Flo breeds leaders raise leaders. The young fella didn't touch the rim 3 consecutive times. Well, anyway, they take the lead. They take the lead in overtime. They're winning the game by about 4 or 5 with 5 seconds to go in the game. I look down at Flo, and Flo, again, you got to know Flo. Flo is my man's little bro, though. We've been tight for years. He calls for a press. Listen to me, y'all. Flo calls for the press, Double A Dub. He want to get another steal so they can beat me by about 7 or 8. So when he called for the press, his player looked over at him. I'm watching the whole thing unfold. When I hear Flo calling, I'm thinking, what are you calling for? The game over with. He looked at the player and give him a signal. The player looks at Flo like, what are we doing that for? And Flo waved his hand and just do it. So I just looked at Flo like, man, you want to bury me? I get it. So if Flo is in a fight with you, trust me, if it's his cousin, if it's his dog or his cat, Flo gonna try to bite your tail, man, when he get the opportunity. But yeah, man, me and Flo been battling.
That's real, man. So basically your tie was untied like it is in them games.
You know, that's
untied,
why
loose, your shirt halfway unbuttoned and everything.
I was messing up my Windsor knot, man. I'm taking off my tie during the game, man. So, it was off. Man. Trust me when I tell you.
I ain't gonna hold y'all up. Hey, listen, I ain't gonna hold y'all up, man. I just want to salute y'all. And if y'all got a shot, man, do one for me, man. I appreciate what y'all done did for all these kids, all 4 of y'all, and what y'all continue to do. Okay.
Hey, Dub.
And
appreciate that.
Hey, Dub, I gotta say this, man. I'm on the line, Double A Dub. He ain't gonna say it. You know, we always say your resume is always best spoken by somebody else. His only son played for me. His only son played for Flo and during AAU season.
Right.
His only son was as tough a little son of a gun as you'll find, but he's as smart, an incredible young man, mannerable as you'll find. He's a handsome little cat. He's down at Morehouse University right now, and he about to get on a hoop squad next year. Bad young boy, man. Double A Dub done did it the right way. Proud of you, dog. And the young fella's birthday is August 13th, so he with a legend.
Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate it. And he spent the night over Mark house. Mark had him in camp one whole week. You know, so that was appreciated. Yeah. And I tried to send him some money. He said, "Man, stop testing me."
Double A Dub,
right,
man.
Dub.
We appreciate you, man. We appreciate you calling in.
All right, man. Y'all take it easy.
All right,
Yeah.
peace.
Fonzo May, man. We feel the same about you, dog. We love you. We watching it, man. Persian in the building. Well, we really know you went to Cooley High first, Fonz, man. Mad love to you, bro.
So let's transition to this and G, keep watching it because you got your specs on.
I got my specs on.
I
so
can't see all that
You
part.
can't see. You
trying to tell you, it ain't no sense to me trying to get over there.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, blow that boy. No, I don't have no glasses yet.
Get some. You got a shirt.
So, Flo,
I should've worn mine.
now, y'all guys, we high school. How has AAU basketball affected our high school basketball? Because when I look at it, a lot of guys, and I haven't been on the circuit like y'all guys have been in the last 5-10 years, but it seems as if this is kind of taking the control away from the coaches, because I think Mark White, you kind of alluded to this about, parents trying to make this $1 million player and a part of the business trickle down, and it starts with this AAU. If your kid is good, we don't have to listen to our high school coaches. It's the AAU part of it. What do you think? How is that impacting your coaching at this point?
A lot.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? I just think with the state of Michigan,
Yes,
we're
sir.
gonna go there.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? With our least amount of games we can play,
Mm-hmm.
with our least amount of miles we can travel.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
guys from our state look at AAU as opportunity to go across the country to play.
Mm-hmm.
So when these coaches could, I don't want to say promise a kid, but take a kid here, take a kid there, this tournament, it could be seen or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Takes a lot from the high school coach in our state,
Yeah.
for sure.
Mhm.
And they use that as the leverage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
For
The
sure.
summertime, things like that. So in our state, for me, like it's a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because kids, like you say, want to be seen. NILs and the Instagrams and all that type of stuff. See all the other guys doing across the country. They want to do it the same way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
until we start getting more games, more travel mile, things like that.
Yeah.
Start doing things, putting our kids on a bigger pedestal to be seen.
Yeah.
It's gonna hurt high school coaches.
Yeah. It's doing this. G, Mark, you want to tackle a little bit of that? Nope. All right. So now ain't no question. G, what you think about it?
Well, you know what? When Willie Green, yes, that Willie Green, the head coach of New Orleans Pelicans, I saw a letter in the mail when we were at Cooley High coaching, and the letter asked the number of his AAU coach. I'll never forget this. I'm forgetting that. So I remember looking at the letter and giving it to Willie, but I remember the first question was the number and the name of his AAU coach. Now, we both played AAU, obviously went to this level now with so much games and all this stuff. But I remember thinking, I asked Kelso, I'm an assistant coach. I said, Coach, why do you need to know his AAU coach's number? For me, the AAU coach was irrelevant.
Yeah.
And for all intents and purposes. No, listen to what I'm saying, Mark. You laughing. The AAU coach is like, man, come on. He's not doing the developing or none of that.
Yeah.
Why do you need to know the AAU coach's name or his number?
Mm-hmm.
And that struck me. And that was very alarming. And as time has gone on, the one thing that I got alluded to is that we all have coached AAU basketball because it was almost a lesser of two evils.
Mm-hmm.
You had to get involved in it because it's like, I got Daryl Bigham. Somebody mentioned Daryl Bigham and Leonard Harper Baker Jr. They were at Southeastern with me. And Mark, remember, they were the best combo of forwards in the state that year. Mm-hmm. But I remember getting them back after AAU season. and I wanted to kill him. I said, man, we was in summer league games. You know, big shooting threes. He waving people all day. And so I said, you know what? At some point, either I'm going to stop coaching or I got to get into this AAU thing somewhat to protect my players and protect the integrity of the game and what we do. So it's tough at times. And I think we were a wonderful organization with the Michigan Playmakers, man, Flo and I, you know, because we do it the right way. It's about defense. It's about playing the game, how it's intended to be played. Mm-hmm. You know, our producer's son played with the Michigan Playmakers from the time he was in the 6th grade. Unfortunately, you know, and I think the guys around this area have done a good job. But when you look at it nationally, you know, you look at some of the games and you realize no game plan, no structure, it's one pass and a shot. It's kind of harmful, and we got to do something about it, man.
Yeah.
We have to.
I have another question for y'all. So think about this. What do y'all think about now? Everybody's into this age of this training, individual training. This individual training. This individual training. And my thought says, I hear a lot of people talking about, I'm sending my kid to this guy, to this guy, to this guy. And my question is, does the training translate to winning basketball? It's a number of guys that we know that are training kids. How does that impact when you get that kid back from this trainer?
I'll go first. Man,
okay, go ahead.
Mark looking like, man, I ain't saying no, I ain't not touching that.
Right.
And I will say this, and it's just what it is. I think if the 4 of us decided, man, you know what, we're just going to train, we could become some decently wealthy guys.
Yeah.
And we just train.
That's trained.
Right, Flo?
Absolutely.
You look at the players, how you develop them, Mark. You look at it right now. Ralph, what you had to do, you ain't had no talent at CMA, none of that, Cooley, really. But I think what has to happen when we train guys, and some of my parents will say sometimes, well, you know what, I'm going to send them to such. I say, okay, that's cool, but no disrespect to them or anybody else. Don't spend your money. I got it, because I'm going to teach them how to play as I'm teaching them, as I'm training them. Mm-hmm. And oftentimes what's happening, you got some guys doing a good job out here that's training, no question about it. Mm-hmm. But training really is all about repetition. So instead of driving them somewhere and figuring out a time to go train all that, you can find a gym and have the kid just do some dribbling and shooting drills. You can do that yourself, because the harsh reality of it is, if they're that committed to go to a trainer, they can train on their own. And trainers have to get to a point where they're teaching the players how to play the game above their neck. And that's the one thing that's missing. You know, I've had some players that train all the time. And again, I get an attitude sometimes, and I've said some things on the sidelines to my players that I know go to trainers.
Man, how you go sneak this to trainer, man?
I ain't sneak this to the trainer.
Read Anika McEvan's comment. She had a comment up there.
Yeah, Jeff McKinney had a question too, man.
Let's go. It was a comment from Anika. What did he say?
Everyone wants to be in the business, but they're not about the business of our kids.
Absolutely. Go to Jeff. Who was it? You said Jeff
McKinney.
Okay.
I'm touching that training piece real quick.
Go ahead, Flo.
Because, you know, I dabble in it.
Okay.
Yeah, so, but my piece is little kids. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do it because
also teach people how to play.
Yeah, I ain't. People think I started doing it because my son, you know what I'm saying? He's 9, you know what I'm saying? But I really want to teach the kids, because when we came up as kids, we played in the park all day long. Yep. And that was our trainer.
That was our trainer. And the older dude that was on your team.
Come on.
That told you, man, don't shoot that shit.
Come on. For real. So you had to work and get your shot off, because yesterday the big fella kept elbowing. You couldn't get around him. You got to learn how to get around this guy. You got to learn how to take that tough, shooting the wind, all that type of stuff, man. Yeah. You know, that was our trainer. You know what I'm saying? So my point is, the kids don't play like we played. Yeah. Because there's so much other distractions too. Yeah, so you know what I'm saying? So me looking at, you know, the generation coming up, you know what I'm saying? The guys don't play as much as they did. So I said, let me start just giving back a little bit. Yeah. So I started my little bit of teaching, train, whatever, but for the little kids. You know what I'm saying? Nothing wrong with training older kids. Nothing wrong with it at all. You know what I'm saying? But for the little kids. But also, they're learning how to play. So it ain't just cone drills and dribble right, dribble left. And learning why to come off this cone. You know, why. And how to come off the cone. How to come off. You know what I'm saying? Just learning how to play. You know what I'm saying? teaching the basketball terminology at a young age, what they ain't getting, things like that.
Jeff McKinney had a question. Mark.
Oh, I said, do you,
Mark?
No, Mark answered this question.
No, do you all feel that if the rules were altered where we could travel and play more games, that it would bring more of importance to high school basketball in Michigan?
Mark, go.
Well, I feel, again, how the business of the game has trickled all the way down to high school. And you guys talk about AAU. AAU is basically created because NCAA changed the rules about recruiting. So it's try to create events where you can congregate all the talent so they can use their limited days to recruit and evaluate as many players as possible.
At one time.
But the truth about AAU, a lot of people don't speak.
Okay, give it to us then.
There's a lot of exploitation in AAU because most of the AAU events and tournaments aren't NCAA sanctioned, so college coaches can't come.
Okay. All right, Mark White done said something up in here. So they're not sanctioned. Okay, go ahead.
So when you're paying $800 to $1,200 a summer to be on an AAU team because you feel like you're going to get more exposure, it's really false. Because the most talented players that get exposure and are evaluated at these events like Peace Jam, it's because of NCAA regulations. But if NCAA didn't regulate how many times college coaches can go evaluate players, I could have a tournament in my backyard and coaches will come if the right players are there.
Yeah, that's true.
If I had Daniel Lighton, Raphael Peterson, Mike Talley, Antoine Jobert, Demetrius Gore on my team, and we play in my backyard, all the college coaches would come.
Okay.
However, if I got Sam, Richard, Daniel, and they can't chew bubblegum and walk at the same time, I don't care how many tournaments we go to across the country, ain't nobody coming to see them.
They're not coming to see them. That's a great point.
The premise of AAU has been distorted, and a lot of families have been exploited by that.
Totally.
Okay.
Mark, you think about the cost of hotels and meals.
I mean, you just think about the kids who play AAU from 11 years old to 18-year-olds who are looking for colleges to go to right now. I mean, they play AAU for 10 years basically, and they still don't have a scholarship.
And don't get a return on that investment.
So again, it's all trickled down from the business of NBA and NCAA. 25, 30 years ago, it wasn't AAU. And we had more Division I players in Michigan than we have now. We had more NBA players from Michigan 30, 40 years ago than we have now when it's AAU everywhere. Also, the travel basketball, Coach McKinney asked about the importance of high school basketball in Michigan if we could travel more. Some of the teams we play, and we're a charter school, Division II. Why would they travel somewhere else and play? Nobody, and they can't compete in their neighborhoods and locally. Like
that's a great point. That's a great point.
There's only one or two teams from Michigan that can compete when you travel. Look at the team that they created, Ipsy Prep, to travel. I don't remember that team having that much success. And then they had the number one player. They had the number one player in the country.
They didn't put the right coach in that.
They had the number one player in the country. So I feel like the importance should be on what Ken was talking about, what George was talking about, making sure we have great leadership who can teach the game, who can prepare and develop players, who are instilling the right values so that our game grows. So that the quality of our basketball in Michigan is up to the standard of what it used to be in Chicago, Philadelphia, Houston.
What it was
LA,
here.
What it was here.
So I think as our society has changed, as a lot of factors has changed,
yes,
it has affected the game of high school basketball. So in 2004, I had a team with 2 All-Americans. We started 3 Division I players. We had 2 Division I players on the bench. We had 2 Division II players in the starting lineup, 2 Division II players on the bench. That team, we traveled and played in Indiana against Greg Oden and Mike County. They were the number 1 team in Indiana. We were the number 1 team in Michigan. And we had NBA coaches, general managers, college coaches in the gym because of the talent level.
Yeah.
But I don't see a team in Michigan that's got that kind of talent on it where they can have a national schedule traveling all around the United States and compete. I can recall Redford having a team with Dion and those guys on it going to play LeBron James in Ohio. I mean, that's one of our best teams in the state of Michigan. And they travel according to the rules. So I think we should get away from focusing on changing the rules and, prioritize changing the leadership, the quality of the coaches, support of quality administrations, consistency, stability, parents working with coaches, so that, the kids can be better and, it'll all impact the importance of the high school game in Michigan. You can't.
You go ahead, Flo.
You can't.
You're right. Probably traveling around the country with a national schedule. I don't think so. But nothing wrong with go playing one game, maybe in Uniontown, Alabama, because you got family down there from the South that want to see you coach and bring your team down there for something that might set the team up for the weekend. Whatever.
You can't.
Experience doing something that maybe a kid won't get if you don't go to college.
It's not because what's not going to happen.
The rules say you can play in the neighboring states. It's enough neighboring states to do that, to experience that. If you change the rules, you open it up. Now people want to go to Europe and play. I mean, the rules have been there for a long time. The rules haven't impacted the game as much as administrative changes, firing coaches, instability, these individual trainers, the exploitation of AAU. The rules haven't impacted the game as much as that.
No,
you talk about individual trainers. You're a Hall of Fame coach.
Yeah, y'all Hall of Fame.
How many Hall of Fame coaches are doing individual training? And how many of these individual trainers have coached basketball at all?
Yeah. So that's a great point.
Again, society has individualized the game, but the game is not played by the individual. So you just go to individual training all the time. Man. How you gonna play with 4 other people on the court?
Yeah, 9. Really, when you start talking about defense, but I think one of the things that we have to think about, and we talked about it on this show for ages, is the fact that the way that our community is set up now. Mm-hmm. That's the elephant in the room. Mark White caught 3 buses from Kettering area to Renaissance. He caught 3 buses. Today, there's no way a young fella can. We could talk that tough shit all we want to, right? We all think about it. All of our sons are playing or have played college basketball. Jordan is done, and we about toughness. Ain't no way we let our sons catch 3 buses. Matter of fact, 1 to school every day. We've generated a society and a community where it has become so randomly violent. Now, let me say this again, because the adjective of the violent is randomly. It's become so randomly violent where you can't allow your son to say, hey, man, you know what? Hey, Dad, I'm going to get up in the morning. I'm going to go work out at King, and I'm going to just get on the Grand River bus and come. Man, are you nuts? So what we've done, we've almost made it where basketball has almost become a wealthy man's game. Because the poor kids now, you can't go to the park. It's easy to go to the park, go to Kelly Park, and say, man, let's go hoop. Wow. Cooley High. We did them courts up there when you played at, right? And you can't do it any longer. And unfortunately, this game has been set up so tough. But like Mark said, I've argued with people forever. And again, I am the regional director of the Basketball Coaches Association of Michigan in this area. I am the regional director. And I listen to some of these fools talk. And some of these fools ask me some questions. And I say, man, that's not the answer. Stop telling me that our kids, they asked us when I had Brandon and Percy, now they said, hey, you can come play Michael Kidd, Gilchrist, and when they went to Kentucky. We're going to meet in Philly and play. Now, okay, I had a kind of team that could do something with that, but us not playing them didn't reduce the talent and didn't change nothing. It was going to help my program. It was going to put a couple thousand in my account. No question. It was about money. But the harsh reality of it is the development or lack thereof. I want you to think about this. And I got to say this, right? There have been some players recently in our area that we have been almost like family with. That you look at and say, well, damn, why didn't I get them? Now, I'm at a testing school. So I knew, and they lived in the city. I said, well, I'm going to get them. Well, like who? Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't I get them? But the elimination of the male's voice and the big male foot in the household. Now, I want you to think about this. See, this is the elephant in the room. Nobody wants to talk about it. The large male foot in the household, the large male voice in the household has made it where, no, the parents still want some sort of control now. And he talked about even 10 years ago and all this. That's the one thing that has shifted now. We don't want our young men to be held accountable to a certain level to make them become pros. We've had some talent around here. You think about this, y'all.
Plenty.
We've had plenty of talent. I've looked at some guys in middle school and said, no. This kid can play. He can be good. And then you look at the high school choice and you say, what? What in the hell? Why would he go there? Okay, he didn't go to me. And I said this, and I ain't just saying it because it's y'all. I could lose a player to y'all three, and I say, man, you know what? I told a player that lived in Southwest Detroit when Mark was in Rouge. I said, well, no, you go to Rouge. But I'd be doggone if I lose a player to a guy, and I'm thinking like, damn, he ain't gonna be able to coach you worth nothing. And then when the 4 years are over with, the parent will look and say that the coach was the problem. Well, I'll be damned. I told you that 4 years ago. Wow. So it's tough, man, and I understand it. But you got to understand, man, we had very few loopholes. Elbert Richmond was a man's man. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, Ben Kelso, Perry Watson, Harry Harrison, Baby Duncan. Those were men. Those were men. Johnny Ghosted, man. So you didn't have a loophole back in the day. Winfield Henry over at Central. So you didn't have a loophole. Now the parents get to say, people saw a coach. And some people said, man, he act crazy as ever on the sideline. Guess what? We would look up. Even when we were coaching with him, it would be a father walk up the back stairs at Cooley High, come off the shelf outside, the south side of the building, and bring his son up there that was in middle school and kind of watch our practice. And next thing you know, that kid was coming to Cooley High. He saw Kelso cuss, holler, everything. But the father wanted his son. He was going to have his son with a man that was going to teach the game and hold him accountable. Do you realize the last thing we want right now, and I'll say it right now in front of y'all face in 2023, the last thing that we really want for our children, and specifically our boys, is for them to be held accountable to a high level. And that's the craziest thing that we've ever seen. And that's how our community has so much violence and so many young people who emotionally can't handle themselves. And it's impacting basketball as it is right now.
So to your point, G, when you talk about when that man who would come up that Chalfont drive, come see Kelso and do his thing, but that's the point. He wasn't concerned really about that particular man, whoever it may have been. He wasn't concerned with basketball. He was concerned with the game of life. Mark White talked about this earlier, the game of life, because the game of life, it tells you I have to be able to operate in the system and understand that I am a man and I have to be accountable and responsible. So athletics is just a vehicle to where you want to go. But we think that in our community, not us that's sitting here on this show, but a lot of people think, oh, basketball is our meal ticket out. In most cases, your kid ain't going to the pros. In most cases, you're going to be lucky if he get a scholarship.
1%.
So then, therefore, allow the men to coach your son to get him ready for life. Most of the guys that are coaching, well, in our era, and now it's a dying breed. Mark White is out in Romulus now. How come he's not in the PSL? Coach Flo I want to come back. I want to come back to coaching. But the realization of it is this: do I really want to fight with these people consistently? Because if I come back, like Flo said, stick with your guns, do what you know how to do. I ain't changed. I'm getting on your head. If you not there at practice day for the game, you ain't playing.
Yes.
So this is part of what I look at. So it's bigger than athletics. My man, your man, all of our guys there, Coleman would say it's bigger than basketball. And so you think about that. But a lot of parents don't understand that. You're trying to get them ready for life. Get them ready for life, because the game is life is what it's really all about. Life, basketball, they come together. You got to understand. You already know the G. When coach called to play, you had to throw it to me, right? Give me the shot. So you just go with the story. You know what I'm saying? D had the rebound. You know what I'm saying? Outlet it to me. You see what I'm saying?
Get him on the wheel.
But to the point is, seriously, that's what the teamwork does, because we understood. You want to tell the story about what Big D said when we was in study hall, when he said he would. Oh, you don't want, okay. No, I'm not. We gonna don't worry about it. But to the point of the story is this.
I ain't no rebounder.
Yeah, he ain't no rebounder. But to the point of the story is this, man. Basketball is just a microcosm of life.
Totally.
And so everybody has a role on the team. And you are as good as the sum of your parts. And if you don't understand it, see, somebody got to shoot, somebody got to rebound, somebody got to pass, somebody got to set a screen. Well, just in life, somebody got to take out the trash. Somebody got to do the dishes.
Ain't no question.
Somebody got to go to school. Somebody got to bring in the money.
Ain't no question.
But until our community starts to understand that, we are going to continue to fall further and further back, because no accountability, no responsibility.
Man,
that's the biggest problem in our community. And I know, G, what you got? Because I see you looking at your phone.
Before we sign off, man,
Yeah.
you know, we've been going. Mark said he couldn't be here that long.
Yeah, man, we love Mark Whitestead. I love Mark Whitestead.
We thought Mark was going to do like Mike Tyson when Robin Gibbons was sitting next to him. And he just get up and walk out. We thought, well, man, we're going to get up out of here, baby. That's our brother, baby. So Daryl Weaver said, should the Detroit Recreation Department revive DNBP? Well, 30 seconds, Flo. 30 seconds, Mark. Should DNBP be revitalized?
It helped us growing up, man. Recs and having stuff to do, and just keeping kids doing something positive, man. That's what I say for sure.
Mm-hmm. I feel like there's a lot of ideals. There's a lot of ways we can, a lot of things we can be innovative to help our game, but we're in competition with other entities. Like Ken said, there's a lot of distractions. There's a lot of options. So if Detroit Recreation Department creates a budget to facilitate DNBP, we're competing with AAU. Yeah, so we're not gonna have any kids because they gone every weekend with this AAU stuff.
Yeah.
So again, I think the priority should be to great leadership come together, be innovative, creative, listen, communicate, and do what's best for our kids, which will impact our game. Impact our game, the quality of our game, and opportunities for our young people. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, that's the key word, opportunities for our young people. Go ahead, G.
Well, I think ultimately, that's a great question, but I'm going to be honest. I don't think DNBP needs to be revitalized more or before. Just the recreation department needs to open up, and we need to have some rec centers and some things for our young people to do. So it doesn't necessarily have to be in the form of a league, but something has to be done. Last week, and y'all know me and Ralph, this is not a sports show.
Yeah.
The foundation of a lot of this state champions is because we were that. But last week there were 5 to 6 homicides in the city of Detroit.
Oh man, talk about it.
And our director and I, producer, we went out to these scenes, and 6 of these murders involve people under the age of 16 years old, 16 or under. So what we're looking at is, yes, the recreation department can assist us. Yes, there needs to be some more jobs. Okay, I get all that, but there really are jobs. So I'm tired of people saying that. We have so many jobs available. People is crazy. But I think what we have to do is really get our homes back. Our homes, the homes are impacting our schools. And the schools and the discipline and the testing of the schools and everything is being impacted by the lack of discipline, structure, and true value of the educational system, which is really damaging everything around us, man. And until we get to that point, the one thing that we will realize is, yes, Flo won a state championship. Mark won 2 state championships, and we won 2 as players, but it is going to be tough to bring that back. Because on each of those teams, what you're talking about is the foundation of discipline and structure.
Absolutely.
And it is tough. It is truly tough to bring some young people together for 28 and now 30 games in the season and put them all on a common goal when their parents have an individual goal for each of them.
Yeah, I think that's well said, G. I mean, I think we have a last question. I want to say briefly, everyone, please speak on one or the more memorable games in your career and what you remember. Can I start? Yeah, Mark White. Listen.
Mark, you started, baby.
The great Mark White can start it right now. Go ahead.
I want to say before we leave, how proud I am to be inducted into the Hall of Fame with 2 young men that I admire and respect so much. One of the things that has changed, and we speak about, the many changes in our society. One of the things that have changed in our competition in the state, in our area, is that when Coach Kelso and Coach Golston, Coach Watson, Coach Harrison, when they competed against each other, they always was friends after the game. They always went to hang out at Green's Barbecue somewhere. And that has changed where, a lot of coaches, you don't even speak to each other. They don't respect each other. They go on the internet and they do interviews and talk down amongst each other. So I'm just so very proud that, I'm here with, 2 young men that I respect, that I admire, that I love, and we had some really, really, really great battles. Someone asked, and right now I'm remembering those great battles with these 2. Great games when we going at each other. We put a lot of time in preparing and made adjustments throughout the game and ups and downs, back and forth.
Yeah.
But after the game, we hugged each other.
No question.
We hugged each other. We said, we love each other. We respect each other. And whenever I need something from these 2, they always there for me. Where, I can't say that about a lot of coaches in this area. So that's something I'm very, very proud of. And right now at this moment, I'm just remembering those great battles with Redford, Henry Ford, Central, King. I'm just so thankful that we're still friends.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, but see, one thing, Mark, you said you it's 2 guys you love here. I know you ain't want to include G in that. So that's
I said going into the hall. I love you, Ralph. You're the only person who can get me on the internet.
I was saying you was not with including George. But so I could tell you one of, and to McKinney's point, memorable games. I tell you, for me, it would be that state championship game against Southwestern, obviously.
Our junior year.
Our junior year.
Yeah.
And in telling this story, and give me just a quick minute. It was when Coach came to us the day of the game. And it's so crazy because the night before, my dad was like, son, y'all probably should go a boxing 1 on Anderson Hunt. I said, Dad, we can't go a boxing 1 on Anderson Hunt. They got too many other guys. He said, but he's the nucleus of the team. The next day at Cooley, Kelso said, Ralph, we're going boxing 1 and you got A Hunt. I said, I got you, Coach. Yeah. But to the point I remember that game when I'm telling y'all, it gives me chills because we was in that boxing 1 and I kept seeing the same play they was doing. They would throw the ball. You would have Hunter be at the top. He'd throw it to his right, and then they would throw it down to the corner to Kevin Williams. I remember like it was yesterday. Hunter cut through, and then what's going to happen? It forces your zone to reach over, to shift over. I remember telling Earl Stark, I said, Earl, because he was on the top of the zone. I said, when I go for Hunt, when I leave to go for the steal, I say, don't rotate to anybody but Hunt. He said, I got you, bro. To this day, it gives me chills to tell the story because it never got to Hunt because I stole the ball 3 consecutive times. People forget that. But that was the most memorable game for me because everything that Kelso said happened. It happened. We were believers. My dad was in my life. We had men around. But my dad said, I'm not your coach. I'm just your dad. He was just giving a suggestion the night before. So for me, for him to say that relinquish that stress. Come on, man. I get a chance to listen to my coach, even though he wasn't like that, but still to the point is for me, I was like, man, okay. It's another man here in the community that he's saying he good. Come on, man. That's what I think we missing. But okay, go to your G. Go. Okay. I'm close. Okay.
2007. We coming off our back-to-back city championship.
Yes, sir.
In the semifinals. Playing at Renaissance. Playing against Detroit Finney High.
I was right there.
We in the fourth quarter.
Okay.
Y'all
we down 12. Hear me now. When I say this, people don't believe that to the story. I got the footage. We down 12 with a minute and 13 seconds to go in the game. Wow. Hear me again. Down 12 with a minute and 13 to go in the game, fourth quarter. We win in regulation by 2. Wow. Man. I couldn't believe it. Gino playing next. I'm playing in the semifinals.
In the semis.
I'm looking in the corner. The Gino Renaissance built, the locker room right there. The locker room over here. New arena. Renaissance just get built, right? Yeah. A couple years. I said, man, we're about to lose, man. I said, man, it can't be over. Called the timeout. Manny Harris. Coach, who ain't going on? I said, man, this boy got some heart, man.
He has as much heart as anybody ever been around.
This boy got so much heart. 2 of them. We won in regulation, fellas, by 2 points.
No, what you got to realize.
Steal here, a 3 here, a couple free throws here. I'm talking about a minute 13 to go, down 12. I was in a high school game.
I'm watching the game.
Unbelievable, man. We go off to win our 3rd in a row. Unbelievable, man. So you talking about as a young coach, that was my 2nd year as a head coach. It's unbelievable, man. So yeah, that's my most memorable game, man.
Well, I think this is kind of fitting, and you know, I always say your resume is always best spoken by somebody else. It's kind of funny. I think for me, you know, the coaching thing has been crazy for me. We've had some memorable games, but I think, you know, the first time that Big D and I, you know, saw Raph cry.
When was it?
State semis. I seen.
Oh yeah. Yeah, when I done that down.
I seen it. So Ralph got 4 fouls in the 3rd quarter. I don't know what he ate that day or what the hell was going on. Ralph reached in here, he get a cheap foul. It was a foul, but they maybe shouldn't have called it. Ralph fouls out in the 3rd quarter.
Yep.
Ralph comes to the sidelines. He realized, man, you know what? Southwestern playing a 2-3 zone this day, Mark. 3rd quarter. Listen to me, man. Ben Kelso. So when people talk about coaches and, man, he's stupid, he need to be fired. Ben Kelso, people don't know this. Kelso led the 2nd leading scorer in the state of Michigan foul out in the 3rd.
Yep.
Ralph fouls out. He comes to the bench. He's crying.
No,
because as soon as he reached, I'm telling you, listen, man.
No discipline.
It was like he's no discipline. Hey, it was like Ralph. It was like Ralph had put his hand in the circular saw. As soon as he hit it, he started crying. So he walked to the bench, and you know, me and Big D look at him, and I said, I got you, bro. Don't worry about it. I said, we playing tomorrow.
Yep.
So this was crazy when y'all was laughing about the state championship game.
Yes, sir.
I won the state semifinal game.
He won it.
This was crazy. So we playing the game. It's the 4th quarter. It's about a minute something left. To get under a minute left. They sit in this 2-3 zone. But I done already, again, I'm a coach at 17 years old. I'm looking at Elton Carter keep coming out to this corner. And I told Mike, I said, I give it back to him. I set my man up. Elton come out. He ended up playing at Penn State. Elton come out to the corner.
Yep.
And I said, if he come out to this corner again, I'm looking at his feet, Mark. I promise you. I said, he's not cutting his baseline off.
Yeah, I remember, George.
I drive the baseline on him. It was nothing he could do. James Hunter come to block it.
Yep.
I go up under the rim.
Yep. Reverse.
And I reverse the thing. We win the game.
Yep.
And what's so crazy is remembering that day, you talk about a team that your team wouldn't lose. So on our folders that year, after we won the state championship our junior year, we wrote on our folders, hey, Triple Crown. We end up losing the city in the city playoffs, but we knew in March you ain't beating us. So we had a vow. Number one, Raphael Peterson and we don't talk about this. Mm-hmm. We implemented a dress code for our team on game day.
Yeah, on game day. We did that.
Ben Kelso ain't do it.
None of that.
Listen to what I'm telling you now. Our coach would tell you he had nothing to do with it. Coach didn't even wear no shirt and tie. He wear whatever.
Yep.
Hey, dog, y'all coming in here, Big D, I don't care what you say. Mm-hmm. We wearing shirt and ties. We got to have a nice sweater on or something. Boom. We knew in March there was nothing that was going. We weren't going to do anything that was going to prevent us from getting to where the hell we had to get to.
Yep.
And when the time came, the leaders always figured out a way to step up and get that thing done. And that's how it goes.
Man, I'm going to tell you, this night with the Hall of Famers, I'm just privileged to be here. I think I'm going to ask Horatio, can they do like an honorary ceremony?
Yeah.
So I can get in there too, you know what I mean? But listen, tomorrow night, MGM 5:30.
Yeah, 5:30.
These three guys, Brother Mark White, George Ward, Ken Flowers, inducted into the Detroit Public School Boys Basketball Coaches Association Hall of Fame.
That's crazy. It's crazy.
If you can't come out, but just we might do this like the old school posse up, tell y'all where we hanging at. Mark White, you know what I'm saying? This is over at 8.
It's over at 8.
We might do a little party somewhere, little party, man, because State Champions Podcast is always.
He don't eat nothing but soup and drink water. Come with us, though. My man can come with us, man.
So what we got to do, man, I'm going to tell you, it's a privilege. It's an honor, man. Congratulations to all y'all guys. I love y'all guys because think about it. The friendship. Mark said this earlier, the friendship and the camaraderie. Can y'all imagine? I'm going to hit y'all with this. If we had a basketball academy and we was training,
that's it.
It'd be crazy. That's a whole nother thing. But for y'all guys, man, I appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all coming on the show, Brother Mark. It was a struggle because I know you was like, man, well, I'll come for you. I say, well, I'm glad that you gonna come in.
Yeah.
Whatever the reason, y'all in the Hall of Fame tomorrow night. People, we're gonna be out tomorrow night. We're gonna be down at the MGM 5:30. But don't forget, if you probably can't, everybody can't get in the facility, but you can make a donation to Horatio Williams Foundation because what he's doing every single year is a great thing, giving our kids opportunities to be seen. Yeah. So tomorrow night, these three guys gonna be inducted to the Hall of Fame.
Stay online. We're gonna let y'all know what we're gonna do after the thing.
We're gonna let y'all know what we're gonna do. Hey, can I get that closeout cue with the champ is here? Let's get the champ is here, man. State Champions Podcast. We out of here. Peace.
Congratulations, fellas.
The champ is here.